Hey, thanks for joining me on this YouTube channel, Node.js Everyday. So, starting today, we're gonna take up a very new journey here at Node.js Everyday. Though the channel is named as Node.js, I would not really stick only to Node.js, but I would stick on with the ecosystem where people who have been really working on Node.js have come up and embraced things like front end, things like DevOps, things like part of DevOps like Vagrant, Puppet, Chef, Docker, and other stuff. One of the things that I'm gonna come up in the next few videos is either be a live coding session on YouTube, or it would be a live coding session on Twitch. I would soon come up and publish the Twitch channel, and I'll let you know how I'm gonna go about it. But starting today, I promise you that most of the videos that you would see on this channel would be very systematic, very regular. There won't be any intermittent videos, so I would keep updating this channel with a lot of dev stuff, and most of these videos would be of the genre like which resembles close to what pair programming is. We will experience as if we are sitting together at a desk in the office and we are discussing together. So I would appreciate if you all could come up, join me in this journey. Put down your thoughts in the chat window that I would enable during the live sessions, or put down your thoughts and comments in the comment section in the YouTube channel. So this is one of those videos where I would start practicing it. The coming up live channel, the coming up live session that we're gonna do this weekend would be on setting up a dev environment using Vagrant. So we would run across multiple things that we would need, and we would see as part of setting up our dev environment. I'm sorry, I've been saying off late too frequently. Excuse me, because this is what I want these sessions to be like. So this is not prepared. It's not like those courses that you take on on Udemy or on Pluralsight or any other courses. I pardon me for taking these these courses, these names, but I would want it to be more like a friend sitting somewhere across the globe and talking to you, like how do you do a screen sharing session in back in the office. Also, this is gonna be very close to my heart, and I believe this is gonna go come across to you very close to your heart, and I would want you to take this as a pair programming session whenever we do it. So let's jump in and see how we're gonna experience it when we are really live on YouTube live or on Twitch live in the coming week, over the weekend. Okay, so one of the things that that I'm planning to take up as part of the working live sessions is setting up a dev environment using Vagrant. So to do that, you should go visit vagrantapp.com. So there are multiple ways where you can install Vagrant. One is either download it, or there's another way that you can use is to go to Chocolatey, which is like homebrew for your Mac, or is like a Linux brew for your Linux environment. So it's a package, essentially a package manager for Windows. So before doing all of this, I would want you to help understand what Vagrant is. So Vagrant helps you set up a dev environment, which can be carried with you just using a configuration file, and you don't have to go back and say that this works on your machine and this doesn't work on my machine, or this works on my machine and doesn't work on your machine, and I'm not sure, I'm no clueless now why it doesn't work on your machine. Say for example, I'm developing something in Node.js or in React on a specific version of libraries that I'm using in it, and you would have some other versions running on your machine, and you would end up seeing something working very weird, or something that doesn't really work at all. and you would walk into my desk and say, hey, see, you've said that you've developed this feature using so and so library, but isn't it looks like it isn't working on my machine. Can you come over and have a look at it? So these kind of discussions have to be eliminated. So Vagrant has come up to solve this, purely this kind of dev issues. So one single configuration file is going to solve all these things. We'll see a couple of things like getting started. I would want this session to be more like how you would go on to look at something for the first time and you want to learn it. So one of the best ways is either look at the video, but for me, over the years of experience, I've seen that to get accustomed with one of the things that we want to get our hands dirty with is to go through the documentation. I appreciate that Vagrant has a lot of good documentation, though it's not that exhaustive as what you want today when you just started off. But I would want you to appreciate that Vagrant's documentation is good enough for us to set up our Vagrant machine, set up our Vagrant environment and come up and run a machine. So when I say a machine, it means Vagrant configuration file helps you spin up a machine, an OS where you can install your softwares that you want to run. Like, say for example, if you're a .NET guy, you would want to go up and install .NET things. If you're a if you're a full stack developer working on JavaScript, you want to go with installation of React, things that would support you to develop applications using React and Node.js. So you would want to go and set up those things using just one single configuration file. So there are a couple of ways, as I mentioned, to install Vagrant. One is downloading it from the downloads of Vagrant, direct download. When you click on it, it will show you whether you want to install it as a Debian. So your host machine can be a Debian or a Windows or a CentOS or a Linux, and there are a couple of other OS flavors like the Mac OS and the Arch Linux. And as you can see, I'm running on Windows machine, so I would have to pick up a 64-bit Windows, and it would give me to download Vagrant 224, which is of 64-bit MSI. It's of roughly 230 MB, and I don't want to do it like this, but what I would prefer to do it is use a package manager like the Chocolatey and go check for packages. I would want you to use Chocolatey as much as you can, because you get used to using things using the command line, and it's always fun to use command line tools to install something and work on. Once you start embracing that, it's very fun to sit around with it than downloading something and running the MSI or the exe packages. So how do you get Chocolatey onto your machine, the Windows machine? It's as simple as this. Go to click install Chocolatey now. There are multiple ways how do you install Chocolatey. So one of the things is either using PowerShell or the general command prompt. So the PowerShell has a couple of steps more than what you need to do when you are going with the command prompt. So I would want you to pick up command prompt, this thing, and run this single line command that you can see. So what it essentially does is it installs Chocolatey and sets it into the path for of the Chocolatey into your machine. So always make sure that you go to your command prompt, run it as right click, run it as an admin, and just copy paste that. Say yes, copy it, paste it, then say, then enter. Just takes a 30 seconds or so. So it says getting latest version of Chocolatey package for download. So it's installing Chocolatey on this machine. So this machine means it's Windows, obviously, because Chocolatey is the package manager for Windows, as its homepage says up. You can safely ignore these errors. Okay, so Chocolatey is up. Choco version. I'm not sure if this returns anything. Yes, so you have 10.3 chocolatey version. So once you're done with it, it's very easy to install Vagrant. Come into the packages section on the top right corner, say Vagrant. Oh, my machine. I'm sorry, Vagrant. Okay, so Vagrant, as you can see on their homepage, it's a 224 version, and as you can see, Chocolatey also has the same version, and it's just a single line command. So either you can use command prompt, but I prefer using cmder. This is cmder. To install it, go to cmder.net, and you can download just the mini of it, which is hardly 8.5 MB. It just installs this console for you. Other than that, if you want to go with the full download, it would also install Git for your Windows. There's a best way that I do it. It's using Chocolatey cmder. So cmder 1311. So say choco install cmder. Just takes a couple of minutes and you're up and running. And I've installed cmder. It helps you run your Unix, Linux commands like on your Windows. So ls is not part of Windows ecosystem, but is part of Unix and Linux, but you can run it. So that's an emulator that you can run on your Windows. So coming back to Chocolatey using Vagrant, so you can say choco install Vagrant. It takes you a couple of minutes to run when you say choco install Vagrant. So it says Chocolatey 10.10.13 is trying to install Vagrant. So it says Vagrant 224 is already installed on my machine. No worries, if you want to reinstall it, you can just use the flag /force. One of the reasons why I'm doing this, much like how I do it when I'm talking to my friend, is because I want to make sure that my friend understands the best of what I'm doing today as of now, and don't assume that this is the best of me, because when I'm back at my desk working on the stuff, when you guys are not around, I give the best of what I am, because I have the time and I have the patience and the energy to get the best out of me and skim through the stuff that I've done, run through the stuff that I've done, and get the best of it and put it into the Git or create a pull request back at the desk. So don't think that this is the best of me, but this is the best that I get in to make sure this is not the best also to get in, but this is the way I would want to talk to my friend, so that we both do a pair programming or do a mutual study session to understand what we are doing as part of the efforts that we put in here. So Vagrant is already installed. So let's see Vagrant -- version. So it says 224 is already installed. That's great. I've come up and created a folder called devbox in my machine. If we go quickly check up my machine, it's a pretty new machine. I've clean wiped out the Windows installation and I've reinstalled the Windows 10. So it's a very clean one. There's nothing apart from the cmder, the Virtualbox, and the Vagrant. We'll get into Virtualbox and what it is right now. So Virtualbox is to run an OS on top of your host machine virtually. So the name suggests it's a virtual thing. So you can go ahead and install a Linux, or you can install another version of Windows on it. It's a free open source one. It's a provider, so it helps you run another version of OS on top of a host machine. Probably you can say, what do you say when you're a host? It's a guest machine. Yeah. So I would want you to go quickly download it from VM Virtualbox Oracle. So virtualbox.org/wiki/downloads. So for Windows host, it's Virtualbox is 6.0.6, and I've installed that. You can see it's a clean install. There's nothing that I have here, so I want to make sure that it's a very clean installation so that you can come up and look at it and understand the way you want to do it. So say for example you're sitting at your desk at your machine and you want to do some experimentation. This is how you would do it. So I would want to have my session as well the same way as what you would do it back at your home. So let's go back to Vagrant. There are Vagrant boxes. So Vagrant boxes are nothing but that has an OS, bare metal OS installation. So it can be an Ubuntu, it can be a CentOS, it can be not just a bare machine. You can have Node.js Ubuntu and so on and so forth. So why do we need Virtualbox? If you look at Vagrant's documentation, let's go docs, installation, command line, backwards compatibility, overview, getting started guide. So it says the getting started guide will use Vagrant with Virtualbox since it's free, but there are many other major providers as they say. So one of them is VMware. There, I think the other one, I don't remember the name, just give me a minute, we'll see it together. Yeah, VMware. Also you can what do you say, set up the same similar environment of your AWS as your environment using Vagrant, so that when you pick this code, put it back into AWS, you have the same kind of a thing. So AWS is another provider, just like how Virtualbox or VMware is. So Vagrant can be used. So as you can see, you say Vagrant up with a provider is equal to AWS. So you're just replicating your AWS environment here. So it's good enough that whatever you do with Vagrant with a provider as AWS, you can go quickly install it there as well. So we have Virtualbox installed. So let's install Vagrant. We have done that. So project setup, you'll have to go find the first setup is configuring any Vagrant is to create a Vagrant file, but there's another way how you can create a Vagrant file. One of the ways is to go find an operating system that you want to be part of your guest machine. So for example, if you want Ubuntu, which is of say for example 1804, for this say this is an official Ubuntu server for 1404 version of Ubuntu. But if you want Ubuntu of 1604, there's another version. See here, there's another box with 1604. If you want Ubuntu with 1804, which is the latest one, say you can either Google it up or say Ubuntu 1804 here, and it says Ubuntu with Bionic. There are other guys like us who have created a Ubuntu machine with which is very much compatible with AMD, or you can quickly Google it up. Vagrant box for with Vagrant box with Ubuntu 1804. So Bento Ubuntu is one of those boxes. So if you already have created a Vagrant file, like how they have set up, how they have helped us do it in the project setup. So if you say Vagrant in it, it would create a Vagrant file. So let's try it out. We'll create a mkdir Vagrant Ubuntu demo cd Vagrant Ubuntu demo. There's nothing here, less minus la. Okay, clear. So one of the ways as per their demo is Vagrant init. So it will initialize a Vagrant here. So it says a Vagrant file has been placed. So that's your Vagrant file. I'll say code dot. I'll open Visual Studio Code and we'll look into the Vagrant file and what it has, its contents. So as mentioned, Vagrant file is nothing but a configuration file that helps you create a OS and run it as a guest OS on top of your host machine with the help of a provider. In our case, it's a Virtualbox. So this is how it is set up. So config.vm.box, it is says it is base. It means it really has nothing in it. So what we can do is either come up, look at it, look at the Vagrant boxes. So they say Vagrant box add, or there's another way. You can create a new new Vagrant box using this command. So what I would do is I'll come out of it, cd dot dot, I'll say rm minus rf vg ubuntu, because instead of creating a Vagrant file like this and then keep on editing that, we would create a bare metal machine which has Ubuntu 18.04 spun up when we up that environment of the Vagrant environment. So I'll say mkdir Vagrant Ubuntu demo cd into it, then say copy and paste it up. So if you go back to this machine, refresh it, now the box says bento Ubuntu 18.04. so when you say Vagrant up, it would come back to this file, look at it and says, oh, so it wants me to create a box with create an OS with Virtualbox as the provider, which has Ubuntu 18.04 as its OS. So most of these are all comments. So we are using configure of 2, so this is 2 version. So as you can see, the version 2 is the configuration. If you don't know it, don't do anything. So we'll mostly remove all the comments here. Okay, every box comes with this. Okay, we don't need this. So this is another comment. We'll remove it. This is if you want to make your port exposed, if you want to make a private port, if you want a public network, you want to sync some folders. We'll come back to all of this. You can even define your, so let's see. So currently we don't have any boxes here. Let's come back to our Virtualbox. So ls, there's a Vagrant file, we'll see Vagrant up. So let's wait for it. So now Vagrant is gonna run behind the scenes. It says bringing up machine default with the Virtualbox as its provider. So you can see it, Virtualbox provider. So it's importing base box, which is Ubuntu 18.04 as we have mentioned in our document. So there's no box yet created for us, so no host, so no guest machine is created yet. So progress is 10%. I think I'm running on a internet speed of 40 plus Mbps. So because I think my internet speed is 50 Mbps, but we are running on Wi-Fi and I'm sitting 10-12 feet away from my router. The speeds that I get on this laptop are close to 40, so it would take time based on that. So as you can see, the machine is, so you can see on the right in the VM box, it's running, it's starting up, it's now running. So the ports have been forwarded, the SSH has been set up so that you can SSH into the box. So let's wait for it to finish. So as you can see, it says waiting for the machine to boot up. So it has booted up and the machine is running. So when Vagrant up is running, it would sometimes throw throw you these warnings like connection reset and connection aborted. It would sometimes throw these lines for multiple times. You don't have to worry about it. It's just because it's spinning up the machine, and sometimes the spinning up of machine takes time to set up those network connections, and it would happen. So but other than that, so it says mounting shared folder. So the guest machine is /vagrant, and it's mapped into my machine to C devbox VG learning VG Ubuntu, which is the current folder that I am in. So where is this line in my box? So this is where it is. Synced folders. We'll go back and we'll see we have our Ubuntu running here. So what is the name of it? VG Ubuntu demo _ default _ some ID for it, some unique ID for it. So it's essentially the name of the folder where you have your Vagrant file / the default, which was mentioned here, default. Or you can name your Vagrant by giving it a name. We'll explore that option as well in the coming videos. So we'll quickly SSH into our machine. We'll say clear, open it up, Vagrant SSH. So you're now logging into the guest machine on top of your host machine. So it says welcome to Ubuntu 18.04 LTS. So it's essentially running Ubuntu without GUI. You can also have a GUI, but it's not necessary when you want your development environment to run on Unix but with a host machine as Windows. So you can say ls -la. This is purely as what your Ubuntu machine would be if you have installed Ubuntu on your bare metal machine. So that's, you can even say apt install nginx, unable to open log file, permission denied, are you in the root, sudo apt install nginx. Okay, do you want to continue? Yes. So it's running apt-get upgrade, I guess. Then unable to fetch some of the archives, maybe apt-get update, or try with fixing it. 404 not found. We'll quickly go through. Did I forget any step? Did I install nginx on Ubuntu 18.04? I think DigitalOcean has some quick start for it. So as you can see, this is just like how you would learn when you're trying something new, or how would you learn it with your friend when you're trying something new. So I would want this session to be the same. Let's see if any of the ports are blocked, or probably it might be because of the antivirus that I'm running. If it is the case, then we would go back and see. We'll disable our antivirus and then we come back and run it again. I don't think it should be any problem for us. Alright, we did do this. Or else you can just put a -5 there along with it, and it would by default take it up. Alright, I think we definitely would have to do an update, otherwise it wasn't helping us out. So as we can see now, nginx is getting installed. What's up? I'm waiting for it, so please bear with the installation. Alright, not sure what happened, but it took a couple of processing UFWs. Excellent. So next, does this work? No, I don't think we can do this. System CTL status nginx. Yes, nginx is active and running. Let's open up the firewalls and see. Alright, open SSH. Let's enable the most restrictive profile that would allow traffic to be configured. Alright, then verify it. Okay, so sudo I'm not sure why is it inactive. If you guys can comment it if I've missed anything. Let's see. Let's see what port did we forward it on. So on the guest it is on 80, on the host it is 8080. So let's see if I can local host 8080. It isn't coming up. Is it because it's inactive here? Invalid argument, nginx failed to pass PID for weird. Let's see what mistake did I do. I think this should work. Not sure. It says forward. Oh god, I'm sorry. I did not uncomment this file, so it won't work. Okay, this is a good thing for us. So we'll exit our Ubuntu that's run with the Vagrant. We'll say Vagrant reload. This is because this is essential for us because we have updated the configuration, and Vagrant always looks up for the configuration file to do what it is supposed to do. So because we have changed its network, for it to pick it up from the configuration file that got changed. So as you can see now, the port 80 from the guest is now mapped to port 8080 on the host, and the machine is up. Let's see if nginx. Oh, I think I should start the nginx, isn't it so? Okay, still bringing it up. Let's wait for it. Start nginx. How do I start nginx? Vagrant SSH. So this whole configuration file is written in Ruby, and I don't think it should be any problem for any of us to understand what it is. It looks more like a plain text file, except for that config dot something. But if you are wondering what is config, config is the alias for this. So I'm spinning up a Vagrant box for configuration of version 2 with an alias name as config. That's it. System ctl status nginx. Not sure if this is the password. No. Alright, now let's go back, try it on our local machine. There you go. I don't know what went wrong, why was it throwing me an error. Not sure, I'll have to go check it out. But yeah, we're set and we're doing a good thing. We are up with nginx, so that's one of the examples that we have seen. So this is how I want the session to be. I know sometimes it might be too boring for you if you are a very experienced developer or a senior software engineer, or if you are someone who is well versed with the command line of using Unix. I'm sure you would have got bored looking at my session, but trust me, this is how I would want the session to go on, wherein I also believe that I know nothing of what I'm doing when I'm doing this live session. This will help us understand things together, look at the errors that we come up with, try find an answer on why we have come up, why we are facing some kind of an error, and why and how do we resolve that. So most of these live sessions are on why we should do something, rather than make sure that my videos are, I don't want to make sure that my videos are like walking on a cake, which is the case with most of those YouTube videos out there, with few exceptions for people like Fun One Function. So MPJ does a great job on how things can be worked out. He does a lot of live sessions. I'm sure I know MPJ has also done a lot of videos which were recorded, then edited to his content, and then uploaded it every Monday, and they looked amazing. But that's like, it makes you look like working on something is like is like is very simple, but when you do the same stuff on your machine, it doesn't work for you, and now you're wondering what went wrong, and you would lose interest down the lane on it eventually. So I don't want to happen that to any one of my subscribers or followers. So that's the reason why I'm doing this video as a live session. So thanks for joining me on this pair programming session, and have a great day. Thank you.